Simula na naman ng isang bagong umaga.
Kayo po ay nakatutok pa rin sa Go Negosyo Talks Meet the Presidential Series at tampok pa rin po sa ikatlong handog ng ating serye si Senator Grace po. At ngayon ay simula na ng ating open forum segment. Kaya lahat po ng nais magtanong ay maaari lang pong tumungo po sa malapit dito sa entablado. Sabihin lang po ang inyong pangalan at bigkasin ang inyong katanungan. Pero ang unang katanungan po ay manggagaling po kay Mr. John Lu Cua. Mr. John Lu?
How would you conduct a cabinet meeting? Kapag nababasa mo yung mga sa Philippine Star at sa ibang pahayagan, sobrang kapalpakan talaga. Pati ba noon lang, if we had a party in the Philippines and that highway is supposed, that skyway is supposed to happen and nothing happened, hindi ba dapat the leader should be, siguro naman, smartphone, ano? Hello? Ano ba nangyari? Hello? Ba't hindi pa tapos? Kami mga negosyante, kami ni Joey, ni Alice, siguro naman, immediately, store manager, lagot ka na. Ba't hindi mo binuksan yung tindahan? Lagot ka na. Ba't nagsara ka ng maaga? Lagot na. Bakit mababa ang benta? Yun lang naman. Thank you.
You know, I came from an agency, the MTRCB, where we had 30 board members. It was a riot, okay? Let me tell you the members that I've had there. I have an indie film director, a few others. I have showbiz writers. I have lawyers. I have an Opus Dei lawyer. I have a former mass communications president of Ateneo. I have a mother. I have a businessman. In short, it's a cross-section of society. And they can probably almost wring each other's necks when it comes to certain issues. But I put them in the same page by saying this. People, adults, can watch basically anything that they want. That's their life. But we need to take care of the welfare of children when it comes to monitoring the quality of shows that they're watching. We need to be able to empower the networks so that they can learn self-regulation. That's why we have that sa umpisa, SPG, PG. Thank you, Manette, for that. What I'm saying is this. You have to be able to articulate where you want to go, where you want to take the country. You have to give them importance as to what they have to say. But when it comes to working, pass your papers, tama ng daldal, give me your deliverables, and if you can't follow it, you're out. So I thank the President because somehow he gave me autonomy in how I was able to run my agency. The problem is, when you give autonomy, it has to be a person, perhaps, who will actually do the job. Because if you give too much autonomy and you don't actually monitor their progress and deliverables, well, we see what happened with the DOTC, right? So I'm saying that the President has to be very involved, but not too involved as to stifle also creativity and also sufficiency or efficiency of the department. So that's it. To summarize, spell out your objectives, where we want to go. We need to be on the same page. I'll give you autonomy, but you have to be answerable for your deliverables. So, and then I will always respect what you have to say, and I will give you time. Warren Buffett said, a good leader has to have integrity, competence, and energy. But if you don't have integrity, you better pray that you don't have both because you don't know where you'll take the country in the next step. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, the next question will come from, yes, ma'am. Go ahead, please.
Micro and Small Entrepreneurs of the Philippines. Ang tanong ko po ay tungkol sa water and power utilities. Nasa isip po yan ng mga maliliit at ng malalaki. Magmula sa micro, small, medium, and large. Kung ano po ba ang ating kaisipan tungkol dito? Ano po ba ang ating magagawa para maibaba ang gastusin sa power and water? Halimbawa po sa water, napapansin po natin, all over Manila lang, hindi na po tayo lalabas ng Metro Manila. Kami po nagbabayad pati dun sa mga tubig na tumatapon. Kasama po yun sa unbundled, hindi po ba? Bakit sa amin po kukunin yun? Hindi po ba dapat doon sa investor, hindi ba? Ngayon, tungkol naman po sa sa power, ganun din po. Yung mga sumisingit na kumukuha ng kuryente, sila na nga ang nakakapagsimula ng sunog. Tayo pa rin po ba ang magbabayad tungkol doon? Pwede po ba nating i-nationalize para mapilitan na itong mga investor natin ay gumawa ng tamang paraan, tamang plano para mabawasan naman ang nakakubakob sa ating mga mamamayan. Pangalawang punto, yung pong Mining Act. Kasi po, napapansin natin, hindi lang naman po dito sa Luzon, kundi halimbawa po sa Palawan, sa Quezon, umiiyak na rin yung mga indigenous people at saka yung pong mga parang kung bubuksan po natin ang ating Mining Act, dito lang po sa Bulacan at dito sa Palawan, bumabangga po yan sa turismo naman natin. Paano po ba ang ating kaisipan tungkol dito? Maraming salamat po.
Nako natumbok po ninyo talaga lahat ng mga tanong na importante. Dati, pag binubuksan mo yung gripo sa Metro Manila, ang bagal talaga ng daloy ng tubig. Mahina po. Ngayon, at saka hindi din ninyo siguro na abutan to, may baby pa kayo, na dati talaga, baby pa talaga, no? Dati, mga fire trucks nagdi-distribute ng tubig dahil kulang. Ngayon, nangyayari pa rin yan. Sa ibang lugar, lalong-lalo na pag El Nino. Pero kahit papano, napaayos na rin natin ang sistema ng distribution ng tubig. Ngayon, tama po yung sinasabi niyo, ma'am. Pag may mga tapo ng tubig, hindi natin dapat cargo yon, di ba? Ayusin kaagad ng MWSS o Maynilad. Pero isipin din po natin ito. Grabe po ang utang ng gobyerno noon nung sila po ang nagpapatakbo ng MWSS. At pagkatapos noon, yung serbisyo hindi pa po perfect. So ang sinasabi ko lang po, pag pumasok tayo sa isang kontrata, kailangan ay siguraduhin natin na makakabenepisyo ito sa taong bayan at hindi tayo maiisahan. At mabibigyan tayo ng tamang serbisyo. So sa tanong po ninyo, sa tingin ko dapat pag meron silang kakulangan sa kanilang serbisyo, cargo nila yon at hindi dapat ang consumers. Pero wag din natin kalimutan na malayo na rin ang pinanarating natin dahil din dito sa inisyatibo ng private sector.
Mining. I think that is right.
Kala ko nakalusot na ako doon. Teka muna, sino ba sa mining dito? Okay, mining ganito. I think we're the 5th most mineralized country in the world. 3rd yata in gold. There are 2 schools of thoughts on this, and they have both very legitimate concerns. Ang tingin ko kasi po, sa yaman ng lupa, katulad ng mining, ito po ay pamana sa atin. Ito po yaman ng ating bayan na pwede natin gamitin para sa ating benepisyo. Pero katulad ng mga pinapamana sa atin, huwag nating ilustay. At huwag nating gagamitin sa paraan na makakasira din sa atin. So paano nangyayari yon? Nakausap ko si Gina Lopez tungkol dito sa mining. Ang sabi niya sa akin, Grace, just to be fair, why doesn't the government commission an independent scientific study on the impact on local communities of mining to see how much is really retained and what's the added value for local communities? Sabi ko, yes, this is something that we should look into. Because sometimes we can see a particular site. What will be best for it? Will it be tourism? Will it be mining? But definitely there should be safeguards for the rehabilitation of the areas. Because one time I also received somebody who went to my office and said, alam nyo, sa aming probinsya talagang nung nawala ang mining sa Toledo City yata, nawala ang kanilang kabuhayan. So there are really 2 sides of the story that the president has to be able to study very well, commission the best people to give the most objective analysis on it. But we cannot simply unilaterally say yes or no. But what can benefit the people most? Number 1, for their safety. And of course, number 2, for their livelihood. Sir.
All right, the next question will come from our ex-panelist, Mr. Henry.
Thank you, Lucy. From a panadero to isang magsasaka. If John Lou is a panadero, then Henry Lim is a magsasaka, it's a farmer. Although I'm very happy that, of course, Ma'am, you mentioned Doña Maria kanina. I think that's a free endorsement from a presidential candidate. I'm so happy. But then again, agriculture, I just want to let it be known that we have 4 million hectares of rice land in the Philippines. Only around 1.5 million hectares are fully irrigated. Now, right now, we have only around 300,000 hectares planted to hybrid. Right now, I'm the proponent really for hybrid. Hybrid is not a GMO. Hybrid is a new variety of rice in which we can double and triple the yield. It has been practiced in China, in India, and so many other countries. Right now, my question is that if you are the president, how kind of emphasis now can you give to these special types of technologies that can really benefit the farmers? If you go to Central Luzon, you can find almost half of them are really planting hybrid, especially in Nueva Ecija, in Isabela, and Cagayan. Around 200,000 hectares are concentrated here, planted hybrid. And if they only produce 3 to 4 tons per hectare, they produce more than 10 tons per hectare. And that's why the income of the farmers are really increasing now. They are making more than 100,000 pesos per hectare in a matter of only 4 months. And we are practically changing the rural landscape of these provinces. But Mindanao, Visayas have not really fully benefited by this technology. The government is very slow in promoting this in the Bismin area. Hopefully, if you become the president, we can really promote this really nationwide. And I'm willing to put my head in the chopping block. If we have 1 million out of 4 million hectares of our rice land planted with hybrid, I can tell you we will be self-sufficient. Beyond 1 million hectares planted with hybrid, we can even be a rice exporter. So it's not only food security that we are talking, it's really self-sufficiency in rice. Thank you, ma'am.
Tama po kayo. Alam niyo yung sinasabi ninyo, 3 klaseng mga seeds, inbred, hybrid, at certified. Yung sinasabi po nyo hybrid, yan po talaga yung ating dapat ibinibigay sa ating mga magsasaka. Kasi drought resistant, yung iba dyan, mas tumatagal ang pest resistant na mga kailangan natin. Kung magbibigay rin lang tayo ng aginaldo sa ating mga magsasaka, taas-taasan na natin ang kalidad. Diba? Kasi kung inbred lang yung binibigay natin, wala namang teknolohiya, sabi nga ni Mr. Mon, parang baliwala rin. Tama po kayo kasi kung ang yield, sabi nga nila yung fertilization per hectare, nag-fertilize ka lang, triple na yung yield natin, magkano lang ang kulang natin? I'm not saying that we should romanticize and push for rice self-sufficiency at all costs, but definitely we need to help our farmers to become income self-sufficient.
At maraming salamat po sa lahat ng lumahok sa ating open forum. At syempre po, maraming salamat po sa mga dumalo sa Go Negosyo Forum na ito. At syempre sa ating mga panelista. At syempre, ang pinaka mariing pasasalamat ay para sa ating panauhing pandangal sa araw na ito. Si Senator Grace Poe, inyo pong natunghayan ang 3 episode ng seryeng kumikilati sa mga lalahok sa pampanguluhang halalan at ang kanilang mga punto de vista sa usapin ng pagnenegosyo sa bansa. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Lucy Cruz Valdez. Ito po ang Go Negosyo Talks, Meet the Presidentiables.